Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn how to plot data from Pandas DataFrame. So let's begin with the introduction. You all know that one of the most widely used Python package for data science is Pandas, and Pandas provide a robust and adaptable data format, data frame and series for data manipulation and analysis. And you even know that the visualization is the best way to interpret the data, and Python has many popular plotting libraries that makes the visualization easy, and the one of the most popular and the commonly used libraries Matplotlib. So in this video we will learn to plot a data from Pandas DataFrame using the Matplotlib library, and the most effective way to learn this concept is with the help of an example. So I will show you example to clear the concept. So here I create an example with the student data frame, and using this example we will learn to plot a pie chart and a bar chart. So firstly I will explain you the code line by line. So here you can see that I import the library pandas as PD. After that I create a data dictionary. I create a variable with the name data underscore dict. Then I start a dictionary with different keys. The keys are name, age, marks, grade and hobby, and I assign different values to it in the form of a list. After that I want to convert this dictionary to data frame, as our main motive is to plot a charts from the pandas data frame. So for this reason I call a data frame function of the pandas. You all know about this function when you learn about the pandas in this course. So I call this function and I pass the dictionary which I have created above data underscore dict to this function, and then I print this data frame. So now I execute this code and show you the output. So here you can see that it created a data frame having column as name, age, marks, grade and hobby, and it consists of a 5 rows. Then I import the NumPy library as NP because I want to do some data manipulation. As I want the average marks, so I call this average function of the NumPy library, and I want the average of the marks, and this marks I get from this dictionary, or you can say that from the data frame. So I pass it as df.marks. So it takes this column marks and count its average, and I initialize this average to abg underscore marks variable. Then I define the total underscore marks variable and I assign its value to 500. Why I assign this value to 500? You can see that here we have a 5 rows and these marks are out from the 100. So that's why when we add 100 5 times we will get the 500 answer. So I set the total underscore marks as a 500. Then I want to visualize this data frame. So for this reason I import the matplotlib.pyplot library as PLT, and then I define the data. So here I define data as a my underscore data, and here I create a list of the average underscore marks and total underscore marks. So I get these variable from here. You can see that above we calculate the average underscore marks and define the total underscore marks. Then I want to add a label. So I create a variable with the name my underscore label, and I initialize a list to it with the label as average marks and the total marks. Then I want to plot a pie chart. For this reason I call the pie function and I pass data as a my underscore data, label keyword arguments, and set its value to my underscore label. Then I call the auto PCT keyword and I assign value as a %1.1 f %, as I want to calculate the auto percentage value of this data. I also want to add a title to the plot. For this reason I call the title function and I set the title as a average marks of the student. And in last I want to display this plot, so I call the plt.show function of the pyplot module. So I forget to execute this code where I find the average of the marks. Firstly, I execute this code, then I execute this visualization code, and here you can see that it creates an pie chart having an average marks of the student, and you can see that in orange color it shows the total marks and in blue color it shows the average mark. So now we will move ahead and learn to create a bar chart from the Pandas data frame. So for this I call the bar function and I want to plot a bar chart between name and the marks of the student. So here you can see that in the data frame we have a column with the name and marks. So I pass these column to the bar function as a df.name and df.marks. Then I want to add a label to this plot. I call the xLabel function as I want to add label at the x-axis. I pass label as a name of a student, which shows that x-axis represent the student, and then I call the ylabel function. I set label as a marks, so it represent that ylabel represent the marks. I also want to add a title to the plot. For this reason I call the title function. It represent the title as a marks analysis of a student, and in last I want to display the chart. For this reason I call the show function. Now I execute this cell and show you the output. From here you can see that on the x-axis it shows the name of the student as a John, James, Eva and others, and here on the y-axis it shows the marks from the 0, 20, 40 range, and it also adds a title. So with this we learn to create a pie chart and the bar chart from this data frame. So now we will move ahead and see one more example. In this example we will show the relationship between the unemployment rate and the stock price to plot a line chart and the scatter plot. So for this reason I again import the pandas library as PD. Then I want to create a data dictionary, set a variable as a data underscore dic. Then this time I create a dictionary with the key year, unemployment underscore rate and the stock underscore price, and I initialize different values to these keys in the form of a list. After that we need a data frame for the visualization. For this reason I convert this above created dictionary to the data frame by calling the data frame function, and I pass the data underscore dict as an argument to this function, and then I print this data frame by passing df to it. As I initialize the variable df to the data frame function, that's why I pass this df to this print function. Now I execute this cell and show you the data frame. You can see that consists of a column year, unemployment underscore rate and the stock underscore price, and it has 10 rows starting from 0 to 9. Now I want to plot a line chart. For this reason I call the matplotlib.pyplot as plt library first. Then I want to plot a line chart. I call the plot function of the pyplot module and I pass df.year as a x value and df.unemployment underscore rate as a y value. So you can see that on the above data frame we have a column with the name year. So here I take it as df.year. Then I have a column with the name unemployment underscore rate. For this reason I call it as df.unemployment rate. I also want to change the default line style of the line and set it to dashed. So I call the keyword line style and set its value to double hyphen. And I want to add a marker to it. I call the marker keyword and I pass its value as a small o, which means circle. After that I want to add labels to this line chart. I call the xLabel function which represent it is a year. Then I call the ylabel function which shows that y-axis represent the unemployment rate. Then I add a title to the plot by calling the title function, and I add a title to the plot as a unemployment rate from the past 90 years. And in last I call the show function, which is used to show the plot. So I execute this cell and show you the output, how the line charts looks when we create it by using the pandas data frame. You can see that it creates a line chart having a x-axis as a year and the y-axis as a employment rate. It has a different line style and it also have a marker. So now we will move ahead and learn to plot a scatter plot using the pandas data frame. So you all know that for plotting a scatter plot, we call the scatter function, and I pass x value as a df dot unemployment underscore rate and y value as a df dot stock underscore price. You know that this unemployment underscore rate come from this data frame, and the stock underscore price column is also come from this data frame. So now I want to add a labels to this plot also. I call the xLabel function, which shows that the x-axis represent the unemployment rate and the y-axis represent the stock price. And then I call the title function to add a title to the plot, and last I call the show function to display this plot. Now I execute this cell and show you the output. You can see that it shows the circles on the plot, which means it is a scatter plot. It shows that the x-axis has an unemployment rate and y-axis represent the stock price, and this plot represents the relationship between the unemployment rate and the stock price. So with this we have also learned to create a line chart and the scatter plot by using the pandas data frame. And in this whole video we have learned to plot a data from the pandas data frame, and in the next video we will learn to plot a data from CSV file.